Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. One of the reasons why Zimbabwe is a failed state is because Zimbabweans ourselves, we are a very naive and gullible people. We believe anything we are told without seriously examining and questioning it. That has made us vulnerable to being brainwashed, being conned, and this is at the heart of our problem. I've got a video here of this gentleman, Prophet Makandiwa. He's a pastor, very popular, and on this occasion, he's talking about Zimbabwe's new currency, the zinc. He should confine himself, as far as I'm concerned, to the Bible and not stray into matters that he clearly doesn't understand. On this occasion, he is preaching that the zinc is valuable. It will retain its value. There's absolutely no economic basis for what he's saying. The video itself, from the title at the bottom of it, is entitled "A Man of God Doing a Man of God, Prophet Makandiwa, Doing the Lord's Work." It's absolutely amazing. I think you better listen to it.
Ukangotanga kungoti azigari shandi.
The moment you start saying the zig doesn't work.
Do you know, once people say this is not going to work, it might not work, not because it was not going to work, but because they said it would not work. All that is needed is for people to believe and to trust. And if people are to put their confidence even in something that doesn't work, it will work. How do I know that? How do I know that? It's not the value that the money comes carrying. It is what we agree upon. Okay? I gave you this as an example that when it comes to precious minerals, precious metals, it was people who voted gold into power. It was not something that the mineral was carrying. We agreed that there must be value in this thing. It's us. So any piece of paper that is introduced, if we are to agree and we transfer value into any piece of paper, it will work for the economy. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. It's up to us, the people. We agree that there is now value in this thing. Then value is what? Transferred. Why is there value in a Rolex watch than in a Casio watch? It was agreed upon. It's not even in the materials used. You can have more gold in a cheaper watch. This is why big brands are selling, because people have voted. People have agreed, they've transferred value into a proven brand. And you come up with a nicely well-designed material, it will still be cheaper than Gucci. Why? People have what? Voted. Everything that has value on the earth, it got its value from the people. That's why Jesus talks about the sacrifice on the altar, that it is the altar that gives value to the sacrifice. And Jesus talks about the gold on the temple, and he says it is the temple that gives value to the gold. We are the temple. We give value to any currency of our choice. US dollar has power because of the Americans. It is the Americans.
Well, that is something. This is where we get into problems. Let's go back to the beginning. When the Reserve Bank governor launched the ZIG on Friday, the 5th of April, he said its value will be the equivalent of 1 milligram of gold. So if you have got a ZIG, its value relating to gold is 1 milligram. And the price of 1 milligram of gold on the market anywhere in the world is 0.0733 US dollars. If you take a milligram of gold anywhere in the world, you can sell it at that price or the equivalent in any other currency. That is what has given its value. As we know, this ZANU-PF launched this Zimbabwe gold coin. Now they call it the ZIG. It was launched and it has got the weight of 1 milligram of gold. If you take the coin and you can sell it to somebody, they are buying from you 1 milligram of gold. That's what it is. If the Zimbabwe new coin currency, the ZIG, is going to be issued as these gold coins, then if I get 200 ZIGs, gold coins, I can take them and sell them as 200 milligrams of gold. And at whatever the market price of gold on that occasion happens to be, I'll get that price. That is what gives it value. But when you start printing paper money, that is another matter. Now the government is saying, if you have got a paper money of 200 ZIG, it is equivalent to 200 milligrams of gold. That paper does not have gold. You can't take it anywhere in the world and say, I'm selling 200 milligrams of gold. They'll look at the piece of paper and say, no, this doesn't have 200 milligrams of gold. if you have got the confidence of saying, I can either have the gold coins, 200 of them, or the paper money, and you've got the confidence that the two are equal, then of course, the paper money is fine. But the minute you lose confidence and saying the 200 zig paper money I've got is not equivalent to 200 milligrams of gold, then that paper money has lost its value. That's where it's losing its value. And it is easy to see why that can easily happen. In Zimbabwe, we have had a regime that has believed that it can boost the nation's wealth by printing paper money. We had this misfortune of having the biggest paper money value ever printed in the world, $100 trillion. If this regime was to start printing money, which many people believe it will, that exceeds the amount of gold that you can swap it with, then that money has no value. What's the point of pretending that I've got 1,000 or 1,000,000 zigs and it's equivalent to 1,000,000 milligrams of gold when you know that there is no equivalence in that paper money? If you have got 1,000,000 of those gold coins, then you know it is 1,000,000 milligrams of gold. I think we should stop deceiving ourselves. The problem with the Zimbabwe currency comes from the decades of gross mismanagement, corruption, and looting, countered by a regime that seemed to believe that regardless of the economic realities on the ground, it can boost the nation's wealth by printing money. That is where our problem lies. I think it's a matter of time. As from the 30th of April, which is 21 days from now, this ZIG new currency will start going into circulation. And given the present economic realities on the ground, the Zimbabwe dollar before the ZIG lost its value, and the ZIG will lose its value for the same reasons. The same economic problems that face the Zimbabwe dollar will face the new currency, the ZIG. And to think that it will still hold its value is being naive, to say the least. I wish some of our pastors would confine themselves to religion and stop preaching nonsense. And I wish Zimbabweans would start thinking for themselves for a change and not be so gullible that you are deceived and conned into doing all manner of idiotic things. One of the most common one, which got us into this mess, happened last year. People believed Nelson Chamisa when he claimed that he has got he has plugged all the vote rigging loopholes. People were warned, you cannot participate in an election process. That is so flawed. We don't even have a verified voters roll. People are being frog marched to attend ZANU-PF rallies. But when Chamisa told them, I plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes, they believed it. People were warned, if you participate in these flawed elections, you give the process legitimacy. And so by allowing themselves to be easily conned into believing that Chamisa had plugged all the loopholes, they participated in their millions. Yatsikam Checheyama, as one would say in Shona. If you participate, you've given the process legitimacy. I think we are going to see the same thing with this sake. The economic realities on the ground have not changed. Whatever was made the Zimbabwe dollar lose its value will make the ZiG lose its value. And people will be facing the same economic challenges that they are facing now with the Zimbabwe dollar losing its value. The economic meltdown is hurting ordinary people. There cannot be any doubt about it. And for us to keep on believing that somehow it's not happening is naive, to say the least. And for people to be standing up and cheering somebody telling them that the ZiG will not lose its value because we, the people, have given it value, is naive, to say the least. It's not the people who decide, oh, the Zimbabwe, the ZiG will have its value and will hold its value. It's the economic realities on the ground. And those have got to do with government policy. If government decides to print more of the ZiGs, as they did with the Zimbabwe dollar, the ZiG will lose its value. It's as simple as that. Simple economics. I honestly think that Zimbabweans need to start seriously thinking about the country and where the country is going, and stop being so naive and gullible to the point of believing nonsense preached from the pulpit and thinking it's wisdom. Nonsense preached from the pulpit. Nonsense. Thank you very much for listening, and good night.